We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. Voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud, the most extensive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Oh yeah, those guys, those are our buddies too. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel, folks. Oh, we got a good one for you today on this Monday. April Fools, except everything here is not a joke. It's going to be factual. But I will show what a bunch of fools the Democrats are and everybody else. I'm glad you are here with me. Get your questions down below into the comment section. Do all caps if you will, so that I can pick out the questions, comments, prognostications, thoughts, reflections mentally on what is happening and why you are prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, folks. Okay, the reason I put that picture of those radicalized jihadis, those crazed Islamists, is because Russia is actually doing something about it. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. In Russia, folks, they have something called Operation Anti-Migrant. Now, in America, we have an operation called Fuck America Over, bring in all the migrants we can, illegal especially. Now, see, the Biden administration didn't start back in 2021, the day he was inaugurated, and say, you know what, I want to have a wave of immigration from around the world, and we're going to do it lawfully, legally, above board. We're going to be thoughtful about this and figure out where these people can go as to where they're needed, and then ask them, is this where you want to come when you come to America? Because if not, go fuck yourselves. No. Instead, he's got Operation Fuck America Over, fuck the taxpayer, fuck our safety, Operation Rape Underage Girls, Operation Murder People, Operation Steal Housing. That's what Operation Biden has. But in Russia, folks, they have Operation Anti-Migrant. Russia has now started a mass deportation effort. And who are they kicking the fuck out? After the Moscow concert massacre? Well, they're deporting Muslims, folks. That's right. They're doing it based on a single attack. And they're singling out a religious group within the migrant community. They're not kicking out migrants that are Christians. They're not kicking out migrants who are Buddhists or Hindus or Catholics. Just the Muslims. I wonder why. It's because that religious group is radicalized and they have proven to be a vicious, murdering group of non-Russians. Now, once again, trust me, folks, Russian Muslims, they're not being deported. It is the migrant population. Why are they being deported and not the Russian Muslims? Well, it's because the migrants, folks, the migrants have no respect for any other nation, including Russia. They have no respect for Russian culture. They want to import their own culture with them, which is a culture of destruction, death, submission to everyone they don't like, and violence. These migrants, folks, they have no respect for the law of the country they're in, the culture, the traditions, the language, nothing. And they should be removed because of it. I give kudos to Russia. You're protecting Russia, Mother Russia, from these migrants that are anti-Russia. Anti-Russia. They are anti-Russia. Of course they should be kicked out. The same way here in America, every last one of these immigrants that is here illegally is anti-America. They have demonstrated they're anti-America, and they don't care about our nation, our laws, our culture, our traditions, because they came here illegally. That's the first fucking indicator. Why? How can we prove that criminal is a criminal? I guess we start with day one when he killed people, right? When they stole stuff. You can always tell a criminal because they commit crimes. The first crime they committed was coming in this country illegally. So they have no respect for the law or our country or anything. Wow. This is how I start, folks. This is how I woke up. Now, on top of anti-migrants, Operation Anti-Migrant, I hope Trump does the same thing. I hope he calls it the same thing. Oh, the left with their fucking heads would explode. Oh my God, he's called his operation the same as Putin. He's a Putin puppet. He's a Russian asset. Oh, the left are losing their fucking minds, folks, already, and Trump isn't even elected. Now, Russia, on top of getting rid of worthless, violent, Russia-hating migrants, they are now demanding that Zelensky hand over the head of the SBU. His name is Vasyl Malyuk, because Vasyl Malyuk went on television and he admitted his role, Ukraine's role in the terror attacks on Russia. So Russia's like, hand over the terrorist, hand him over. He's admitted it. Now, funny, I don't really expect Zelensky or Ukraine to hand over Vasyl Malyuk. And the U.S. government in Washington, D.C. thinks killing all Russians is good. Remember Senator Lindsey Graham, right, Senator? That money we spent that caused Russians to be killed, it was the best money we ever spent. Talk about a cult of death. Rhino Republicans and Democrats are just that. They're a cult of death. Now, I'm going to switch gears. And once again, please sure, down below in the comments, use all caps, all caps. Make your questions clear. Proper punctuation is as recommended. But here we go. Let us continue, shall we? On MSNBC, folks, I just told you if Trump were to call that Operation Anti-Migrant, they'd lose their shit. They're already losing their shit. That does not mean that Trump has won. That does not mean that Biden's most comprehensive voter fraud organization ever. It's inclusive. It includes all fruitcakes in their efforts to cheat, lie, steal, and fuck over America, right? We have not won. That machine that wants to steal our country from us is still out there. But knowing that, even though their machine is still in place, Biden's numbers are so bad. And his transgender day of recognition, day of enlightenment, day of visibility. Fuck you guys. No one wants to see you. Take yourself and go invisible back into the closet. Now, back to the other part, right? They are so afraid of Trump and you. Remember again, folks, it's not Trump they're after, it's us. It's me and it's you. They're not after Trump, they're after you and me. But Trump stood in the way and they fucking hate Trump. They're still after you and me based on what they're doing to children, what they're doing to our military, what they're doing to our legal system, what they're doing to our Constitution, what they're doing to everything, our travel, transportation, infrastructure, power, energy, food. They're after us. And they're afraid Trump is going to get reelected by us, me and you, and he's going to get in their way again and quite possibly put a fucking permanent end to their shit by putting their head on a pike, euphemistically. So they hate Trump and they're fearful of him. And Trump derangement syndrome is real and it is expressing itself on live mainstream media, folks. An MSNBC host, and I don't want to use her name because she's an idiot. She threw a fit on air, folks. She threw her papers off the desk because Trump criticized the judge, or rather the daughter of a New York judge, a daughter who has attacked him in social media. So he responds and they throw a fit. Who's this stupid Trump? Their leftist arrogance of they control everything. They're all powerful. They can't be stopped. That arrogance has been turned into a fear, a very real fear of Trump winning and Trump doing an operation anti-migrant. Trump doing a military is for straight people only. Homosexuality, folks, was considered a mental aberration, a mental disease, a deficiency, a disorder, a mental disorder, a psychological disorder. And so they used to kick people out of the fucking military for being a homosexual. And that got changed under Clinton with don't ask, don't tell. Now we're not fucking asking, but they're telling us every single day we got to choke down their bullshit. So Trump, by just existing and you and I and us as Americans supporting the idea of not Biden, it's given them violent mini fits, like throwing their papers. They're on. Isn't that supposed to be a dignified voice of the people in the media, making sure we have all the facts? No, there's no facts. It's all propaganda. But they're having fits, and their fits are going to get worse, folks. And let me help remind you. Someone had a picture, a painting, an artistic representation of the current White House occupant tied up. The painting was on someone's tailgate of their truck, making it look like there was someone in the tailgate. It was great artwork. And it was, Biden. And the left said that's a death threat. That is inappropriate. Oh, you mean like Kathy Griffin holding a beheaded Donald Trump with blood all over the place? Or how many rappers and rap stars had videos where they're shooting Trump lookalikes and Trump types? And none of their videos got pulled off the fucking air, folks. All of the threats towards Trump, and not to mention his own children, one of them being a minor, the left in their attacks wanted him locked in a cage with a child molester. That's what Democrats think, folks. So their threats are coming. They're throwing mini fits now, but the threats are coming. And on top of that, folks, that was MSNBC, but on regular NBC, those communist sacks of crap ran a hit piece on Florida. That's right, folks. Here I am. I've got the bunker all set. I'm in Florida. Free as can be. But the media, the mainstream media, NBC, says that people are fleeing Florida. They're leaving Florida because of the culture war. They're afraid of the Florida culture, and it's a culture war. Folks, Florida is becoming more and more Republican all the time. And I just helped them become even more anti-democrat, anti-communist, anti-socialist, anti-fascist is what I am. I am a libertarian. I believe in liberty, freedom, and apparently chickens that play polo. Don't think I don't know. So anyways, NBC runs this fucking hit piece on Florida. You know what I say? Good. Get the fuck out of here if you're a Democrat. If you think the colleges are anti-black, which they're not. Get the fuck out. If you think the state is anti-gay, get the fuck out. So they interviewed this person named Noelle Schmitz. And she said the cost of living in Florida and the politics were enough to make her leave. After more than 30 years. Even though her son still had one more year in high school, they had to relocate to Winchester, Virginia. She said the politics, this poor Noelle, this Noelle Democrat, said her politics, folks, became ever present in her daily life. And then hearsay. One former neighbor had a massive Trump banner in front of their house for years. Well, that's hearsay. Where's this guy to defend himself? Another neighbor had Trump written in big letters across their yard. I tell you what, folks, I've been enjoying the fuck out of Florida. Enjoying the fuck out of Florida and all the Trump flags and the go fuck yourself Biden flags and the American flags, all the American flags, the don't tread on me flags, especially the fuck you Biden flags. I love Florida, folks. Right? Miss Noelle Schmitz, she put out a Hillary Clinton sign in 2016. Oh, by the way, it's 8 fucking years later and she's just now leaving, even though someone stole her 2016 Hillary sign and then egged her house. Can you imagine that? Oh, how awful. Someone stole her sign. How many Republicans claimed their signs for Trump were stolen? How many Republicans complained to the police and they said, we don't give a shit? How many Republicans had people vandalize their house, their cars, and tear down their American flags? How many people? Not in Florida, folks. I'm talking around the country. And this bitch in NBC want to play victim. Oh, we poor victims. Get the fuck out. In fact, I saw a meme yesterday, Easter, that said, yeah, waiting for the first state to secede so I can start shopping for a house. People are coming to Florida, folks, just like me and many others, because they're tired of the bullshit culture war against us. That's right. The Democrats want to whine now about culture war and politics everywhere, especially Florida, but everywhere. But it's only when they aren't controlling the outcome. When they're in charge, it's perfectly fucking fine to shove the culture war in everyone's fucking face. Here, put up with my trans shit, and put up with my gay shit, and put up with my BLM shit, and put up with my communist shit, and my socialist spending, and my military destruction, and my lawfare destroying people. Now, yeah, when Democrats control the culture war, like trans school bathrooms, open border, followed by a crime spree nationally, which includes raping of underage girls, raping of mentally incapacitated girls, raping of handicapped people who can't get away, not to mention raping of women, stealing, destruction, arson, squatting in people's homes, stealing their fucking cars. Shall I go on? Yeah. On top of, let's see, yeah, the culture war. How about the feminized and emasculated military? How about judges persecuting innocent protesters? Then, hey, that's fine. Democrats have no problem with the culture war that they push in everyone's face. Persecuting parents as domestic terrorists, calling white people racists and white supremacists merely because they're white, attacking Jews and Israelis for being Jewish or Israeli. Well, yeah, that means attack you. You bet. You bet. And to continue on that line, Miss Israel from 2021 was in New York City, and a mob of approximately 5,000 lunatics decided to harass her and give her hell. That's a big-ass crowd. I'm sure only the first 1,000 people could get close enough to really harass her properly. But understand this, folks. I want you and me to be understanding. These Palestinian, pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist, pro-murder, pro-rape is fine as a tool of war. These people will attack innocent people anywhere and everywhere. They'll blame the government of Israel, but then they'll attack, maim, kill, rape, destroy all innocent individuals and say, well, because Israel is bad, we have to do these things to you. And so, fuck you, terrorists. Miss Israel, I don't know anything about her or her politics, her sympathy levels, and I couldn't give a shit. I'm an American. But she came to our country, and what is she met with? A bunch of this terrorist shit. Who did this terrorist shit come out under? Joe Biden. Now, BLM came out literally of the closet and attacked America under Trump, and Trump did not fix the problem. Basically because the federal government is not a law enforcement entity. that is to exercise authority and power outside of Washington, D.C., forts, arsenals, dockyards, territories, magazines, etc., places where the government, the federal government, exercises exclusive jurisdiction. But I think we need to engage in anti-insurrectionist law enforcement. And every one of these Palestinian lovers and terror lovers would rather have a terror government in place, and they will commit acts of terror, folks. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Fuck. And I made a mistake, folks. This is a wait moment. The bridge collapsed. Right? In Oklahoma, another bridge has collapsed. It was hit by another massive ship. If I told somebody that the bridge didn't fall, I saw a picture of a bridge in the river. Now, there was one in Missouri and one in Oklahoma, and of course the one in Baltimore. We know that one crashed. Am I incorrect? Ooh, man, help me out here, man. Did the bridge fall in the water in Oklahoma? He's giving me the no. It didn't happen. Someone had the news headline and then showed a bridge collapsed in the water. Got to get to the bottom of this. Are we under an infrastructure attack or not? I guess we'll find out. I was told that I was wrong and that a bridge did collapse. Looks like we're getting propaganda left and right, folks. Which way to go with this? Of course, Biden, they deny everything. That's right. Karine Jean-Pierre, she is lecturing Christians, saying, hey, look, it's misinformation to say Biden said that Easter Sunday is a day of transgender visibility. Right to our faces, folks. Karine Jean-Pierre stands in front of cameras and microphones and said it's misinformation to say that Biden declared Easter Sunday was the, quote, transgender day of visibility. I'm pretty fucking sure I read the entire presidential proclamation saying that's exactly what it was, and that these trans people are a big part of the American whatever the fuck. Yeah, I remember when General Smedley Butler put on his favorite bra, fishnet stockings, and high heels and led the fucking Marines to victory. I remember when General Patton, he put on some pantyhose and some drag makeup and led the American troops and defeated the Nazis on his way to Berlin. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. I remember when General MacArthur, right? When he, no, none of that ever happened. Karine Jean-Pierre is a lying liar. See you next Tuesday, gaslighting bitch. And she is in your face with it. It's misinformation. No, she is a fucking liar, folks. Liar. And it's not going to get better. They're going to continue to lie again and again and again. I sure hope you got your questions ready. We've got a lot to talk about. I don't know if I can get through it all. I don't know if I can get to it all. The FBI, folks, decided to post a tweet. That's right. They went on X and put a tweet saying they're combating hate crimes. Well, Americans had enough of their shit, folks. And the FBI is the premier political persecution squad. And I'll add to that they're a bunch of fruitcakes. Whether it's Democrats, teachers, BLM, or Antifa, the FBI are shit at making sure justice happens, and they are kings of hypocrisy and violence. How many times do you have to see a trans murderer, a trans mass murderer, a Democrat mass murderer that the FBI had contact with, was aware of, and didn't do anything to protect the world from them? But don't worry, they'll go door to door and say, we don't like your mean tweets. Right? Remember, Trump was, well, he does mean tweets. We don't like him because he does mean tweets. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I wonder how many people now think that Joe Biden is just purely satanic. There'll be no religious symbology on Easter Sunday. No religious Christian American symbology. But we will, we will just worship and praise Trans Day of Visible People. It's asinine, folks. Everything's asinine. The powers that be, the Club of Rome, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group, the United Nations, all of these organizations, they used to be hidden from us. The Bilderbergs, they were hidden from us, and people would have to hunt them down and follow them and find out, and then try and get bits and pieces of information about them. They were, by definition, an occult organization. This anti-America, anti-freedom, neo-feudal socialist order is hidden, therefore occult. But now they are open and in our faces. And I know I've been pointing a lot lately. These elite rulers, folks, they used to hide behind these organizations I just described, foreign relations, the Bilderbergs, and they had their agendas then. And they kept those agendas hidden from us. Now, folks, they are the World Economic Forum. It sounds, I guess, because they've told us who they are. They're open. They're honest. And they're in our fucking faces, folks. They continue to meet. It's the same organization before, but now they're acting like it's mainstream, pronouncing their agendas loudly, like, well, carbon is bad, so we're going to take cars from everyone. That's right. They're going to stop farming, making food. We need to stop that. It's bad. They're going to take our private property. You're going to own nothing and like it, they say. They're destroying morality by going, hey, you want to molest children? Go ahead. Your children, we should cut their genitals off and ruin their lives and sterilize them. They're all about open borders. That is the World Economic Forum. These elites, they want all countries destroyed by mass invasion of migrants. And they want you, finally, to eat the bugs. They're openly satanic. Openly satanic. And they are openly trafficking children through their policies. They openly want us all destroyed. Our nations, our cultures, our traditions. All around the world, they're doing this. And nobody, and I mean nobody, is safe. They're probably safest in China and safest in Russia. But even they are not safe, folks. Know your enemy. Know thy enemy. It's government, folks. And the government's foot soldiers, whoever they may be. Government foot soldiers, the FBI. Government foot soldiers, mainstream media. Government foot soldiers, Democrat police. Foot soldiers, the Pentagon and the military that is not red-blooded, straight as an arrow Americans. Know your enemy, folks. The masters of those people I just described, these billionaire, un-American, non-American, anti-American scumbags. That is exactly who they are, and that's exactly what they want to do. They want to openly show you that they are satanic, meaning they don't care. They have no morals. Everything is justifiable. The ends justifies the means, and they are Machiavellian in the maximum, and that they'll do anything they can get away with in order to achieve their agenda, which is to own everything. And when they own everything, you own nothing. Absolutely nothing. And before we go, and I know I've gone a little bit long, before we go to the inner circle, I want to remind everyone that the Jim Jones juice is out there. I want to thank Darcy T once again for supporting us on Sunday Night Live and then all week long as well. A 35-year-old NFL player, folks. Guess what? He was found dead at age 35. Isn't that great news? The guy made it to 35. A super athlete died suddenly. And it's interesting. The government hasn't let us know, because when someone dies, they do an autopsy to figure out why. No known cause of death provided. Super athlete. Dead. Suddenly. Unexpectedly. I bet it was a heart attack. Or a heart attack stroke. I wonder what could have caused that. Actually, I'm being absolutely facetious. I know exactly what I think caused it. But, I'm not a doctor or scientist. I'm not a medical examiner or a coroner. But dollars to donuts. Folks, I'll bet $1 million if I had it that he had an enlarged heart, he had massive clots, and his fucking heart gave up. Awful. All right, let's do it. Let's now move on to the inner circle. Uman has your questions. We'll be talking about them directly. All right. What a By the way, once again, April Fools. Happy April Fools. It is April 1st. And none of the shit we're talking about is actually really a joke or, shall we say, a prank. Everything I just talked to you about is out there in the mainstream media. All you've got to go do is look for it and find it, or you can come right here to the Prepared Mind channel where we talk about it, where I bring it to you. I sift through all the garbage. So does Uman, so does Jolene, so does Darcy T, so does Chin Music, so does John, so does Dr. John, so does the other John and that John up there, as well as all the Rays, Rods, Howards, Freds, and everyone else. I appreciate all you guys. It's just hard to remember all the names. All righty, Mr. Uman, where shall we go first? Name Redacted asks, are you in Nikki's garage? The answer is no, I'm not in Nikki's garage. Nikki is on I believe, the east coast of Florida somewhere. And I am not on the coast. I am hours and hours and hours and hours away from where Nikki's garage is. I don't know why that question was asked. Florida's a big fucking state, by the way. I've driven all the way from the Florida Keys all the way through the state and out the top. It takes a long, long damn time. It's a big state. Doesn't look that big. Here we go. Name Redacted says they are kicking out incompatible types to their culture. Well, you know what's interesting? Here we go. Without borders, common language, and a common culture, you don't have a nation, a country. That is correct. Borders delineate one nation from another. And what delineates further, rather intellectually rather than geographically, between countries is their laws, their culture, their tradition, and their language. So people that come from other countries that don't understand, respect, appreciate, obey, and adopt, they are foreign interlopers. They are users. They are the worst people ever. If I move to Russia, folks, and I'm not going to, I just moved to Florida. If I move to Russia, I would expect from myself that I need to start learning some fucking Russian. Or they would look at me and say, Prespedanya, hasta la vista, John, get the fuck out. Right? They would do that and forgive my awful Russian accent. Now, if I moved to Russia, I'd learn the language. I'd learn their laws. I'd learn their culture. I'd learn their traditions. And I would respect all those things. Or I could be expected to get kicked out on my ass. Anyways, there's much to do. Much to do is all. Could we go back to Name Redacted's prior comment to this one? It was short, it was sweet, and there was a good talking point in it. I don't know if it's available, but we'll find out. There's just so much going on, and the fact that we are being overwhelmed by these people. It is a blitzkrieg of anti-American bullshit coming from rhino Republicans. That is Republican in name only. That's what a rhino is. They're Democrats, but they call themselves Republicans. Now, here we go. He says they are kicking out incompatible types to their culture. This would be Russia. And folks, it also is America. Now, the Democrats, where they have strongholds, blue cities, blue counties, and blue states, they are driving people out. They're saying, you must conform and become one of us, or we're going to harass you, get you fired, destroy your family, have the government take your children. We're going to tax the shit out of you, everything. So people are leaving, fleeing Minnesota, Illinois, California, Washington, Oregon, New York, Maine, all of these fucked up northern cities and states. People are kicking themselves out saying, you fruitcakes are incompatible with reality, logic, reason, intelligence, thought, and what America is supposed to be. So fuck you, we're out. And they're leaving. And they're heading south into states like North and South Carolina, Tennessee and Kentucky, Missouri and Oklahoma, Texas, folks, Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, the South. They're also going to places in Arizona. Arizona is going to be a battleground. So is Nevada, battleground. Idaho, battleground. Because of all the liberals that have fled their own shit stink of California. And New York, folks. New York is, look, they want to come down here to Florida, New Yorkers, Californians. You're going to be met with a maelstrom of hate. Not criminal hate, just they hate your belief system. They're not going to give in. The more I've visited Florida, the longer I have spent around Floridians, the more I realize the more they get pushed, the more they push back. You don't like that they're flying one anti-Biden flag, they'll fly 5. You don't like that they're flying a Trump flag, they'll fly 10. They'll have a fucking parade of Trump and anti-Biden. You tell them no, they'll tell you yes and come back and get in your face over it. They fight back in the South, folks. I am so proud of people fighting to protect their culture, the American culture, American laws, American traditions, our laws. Are you going to join Prep to Action? Don't do anything violent, illegal, dangerous, harmful. I don't glorify violence, folks, but I want people to stand up for themselves. These fruitcakes have no problem. Hell, they'll stand there in fishnet stockings, high heel shoes, with their dicks wagging in your kids' faces. Literally. And then dare you to try and oppose them so they can call you a white supremacist and a transphobe and a criminal who's committed a hate crime because you didn't like them wagging their dicks in front of children's faces. And that's what they do. Whether they do it in person at their little drag queen festivals or whether they do it with their pornographic pedophilia books in schools. I have no problem with kicking these people out, and I'm glad they're fleeing Florida and the South. Go north. That one bitch in the story, Winchester, Virginia, have at it, bitch. Go enjoy that. Get the fuck out of the South. She wants to put a Hillary sign up. You asked for more than eggs. You're lucky that's all you got were eggs and that your little sign was stolen. Now, I love it that the Republicans are like, I'm tired of my signs being stolen. Not one, not two, but a half a dozen signs. So they put an electric wire, a horse zapper, right? Right? They'd come up, they go in your yard, steal your signs, they go in your yard, and they beat your signs to pieces. If you're a Trump supporter, they go to your house and they throw rocks through your windows, they spray paint your house, destroy your car, tear down your flag, set it on fire. To the left, it's a war, folks. To you, you better realize, me too, we're in a fucking culture war. Thank you, name redacted. Mr. Ooman, what say you, man? How are you today? It is Monday, April Fools. And we're going to go next with Nancy Kegg. And she says, Mikey, you are so right there. And I have no idea what Mikey said. Continuing, she says, this year is going to be a powder keg, waiting to have the fuse to be lit. Now, I'll tell you what, Nancy. Take this from someone who could be your brother. The fuse is already lit. It's just how quick is that fuse going to burn is the question. How hot is that fuse going to burn? is the question. Is that powder keg underneath the Democrat political platform? Or is that powder keg in their hands that they're running around with? Like a hot potato, and they're wondering who they can hand it to. Who do we hand trans crap to? Biden just gave us a bunch more, and they hand it to another Democrat, and this Democrat saying, holy crap, man, I got migrant issues. I don't want to deal with this shit. In fact, the fucking mayor of Denver went around and found all of these migrant housing areas and started asking the migrants, the illegal, criminal, unlawfully entering our country, violators, invaders, ask them to go to places like New York and Chicago. Get out of our city. That's how much they love their own fucking policy. They're like, oh my God, transgender kids, hand that to someone else. And they hand the powder keg off. This other person's like, well, man, I don't want this shit on my... It's all your shit, Democrats. It's all your shit. The fuse is lit. Nancy, how long? How fast will it burn before we have problems? Even this guy, I don't even know who this guy is, Michael Stolbarg or Stolbarge. He's supposed to be an actor. I saw his face in the article. I have no idea who it is. He got a rock thrown at him and hit him in the fucking head in New York City. New York, New York, dun, 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 dun. Love New York. You can go there. If you're a girl, you get punched in the face by black men. You can get thrown in front of the train tracks by Democrats. If you want, you can assault police and kick them to the ground and beat the shit out of them as long as you're an illegal immigrant. You can have your business picketed, destroyed, burned, looted if you're a Republican. I love New York. Anyways, this fucking idiot actor, he was assaulted by a homeless man. Now, once again, it's either homeless, racist, or illegals in New York City, or a combination of them all, who attack innocent Americans. Now, of course, Michael Stolberg, being a liberal Democrat, I have no fucking doubts, has asked for this shit, has voted for this shit, and is now getting the shit he deserves. But that is part of the fuse. The screwballs on the street are losing their shit. They're violent now. This powder keg of violence is emerging from homeless people, from migrants. It is emerging from BLM, Antifa, the Palestinian groups. It's there. Now, what will make it explode? And by explode, I mean erupt into massive Democrat socialist violence nationwide. What could cause that? Could it be the police? Someone on drugs dies, and because of their race, religion, or color, we're supposed to have more riots again? Well, Biden's losing, folks, and he's losing even bigger today after his little Easter stunt that Karine Jean-Pierre, the little lesbian herself, said, no, this wasn't, no, that's misinformation. Take your curly-haired bullshit lying and get the fuck out of our country. She's not an American, folks. Nope. They imported that piece of LGBTQ trash into this country, and now she speaks, lies for the president. I hope that I'm wrong, Nancy, but 2024, I keep hearing people go, here it comes. It's happening. We can feel it. It's on us. Here we go. Anyways, now that I've read everything you wrote there, Nancy, I understand what Mike was talking about. Thank you so much. What a great topic. All these topics are important, folks. You should be prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Your plan. Prep to action. You have to take action. If you want your first step of action to be stepping out of your front door and being shot at, then you're welcome to it. If you want your first action that you take on behalf of yourself is to run from a crowd, a mob of crazed lunatic Democrats, then you're welcome to it. If you want your first course of action in SHTF to be watching your city burn, then do nothing now. But I say put the fear of God in them, put the fear of Trump in them, put the fear of freedom in them, put the fear of Americans in them, put the fear of the Second Amendment in them. by letting them know where you stand in Congress, House of Representatives, the Senate, your state assembly, your state Senate, your governor. Don't bother talking to Biden. He's a fucking moron. It wouldn't do any good. He would probably think that everything, hey, Mr. President, we went from getting 1 million pieces of email a day to 2.5 million. America just loves you. Unbelievable. Now, let's see. It was a political analyst at J.P. Morgan who said Biden will resign sometime between Super Tuesday and the general election. Well, Super Tuesday is come and gone. He's becoming less and less popular, more and more of it, both a fucking joke, a sideshow, and a traitor. Oh, it'll get worse. Mr. Uman, what say you? Who has up next? And it's Uman. Oh, here we go. When Uman speaks with the wrench there, I listen. He says, don't forget about the trainee. You guys use code to get the words out there. Trainee, you mean trans testicle. I know you can't type that. I typed the word hoax on a YouTube post and it denied me because it was next to the word climate. I was pointing out that the climate change is climate hoax. And they're like, nope, denied. So yeah, trainee. Don't forget about the transsexual criminal, the transsexual anti-American, the transsexual freak who burned down a church in Brooklyn yesterday during Easter Sunday services. This church is 117 years old. It is a beautiful church with Gothic architecture, big, tall building, right? Spires, towers. It's beautiful. Even though it was built 117 years ago, the beginning of the 20th century, it still had some beautiful architecture. But a tranny showed up, a transsexual, an anti-American who hates your fucking guts, showed up and said, I'm going to burn this Christian church to the ground because my beliefs are so important. You know what's terrible about this? Is the trannies, these transsexuals, don't have churches for us to burn. Nope. There's no way for us to attack them. They keep saying that there is threats against them, that acts of violence are committed against them, that they're suicidal. Oh, boo-hoo. I would be suicidal if I cut my own dick off too, don't you know? I have no sympathy for them, folks. They've asked for the attention. They've begged for it like a bunch of narcissistic, pansied children. Fucking toddlers, intellectual toddlers, and they're getting what they want. All the attention. And it's not all positive. What do you mean? You must accept me and my visibility. No, fuck you. Go back to the closet. Stay in there. Forever. That's where you belong. Unbelievable. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Burn that church down. Unbelievable, folks. I even had it. I wrote a bunch of shit down and I got really upset and I probably fucking erased it. Talking about these people, right? They want every holiday in America to be about, self-mutilation and sterilization and sexual depravity. Of course, that makes the most sense. These fucking people. Burned a church to the ground. Has anyone seen anything positive come from the transsexual community? I haven't. All I've seen is destruction, disruption, disgust, and criminal behavior coming from them. That's it. Okay, Mr. Uman, shall we continue? Thank you for bringing up the church because, all my thoughts in it disappeared. It absolutely disappeared. Now, Chin Music checks in and he says, that judge's daughter, the judge's daughter who was insulted by Trump. And so, they want to gag Trump, right? He's got a gag order. He violated his gag order because he said something about the judge's daughter. He's like, she's not involved in the case. You're telling me that a judge can silence somebody across the board, especially when they're a presidential candidate? You're not allowed to talk. You must be silenced. These fucking judges think they can gag everyone, silence them. I don't think there should be any gag orders allowed, period. Well, Trump was too influential. Oh, okay. So all you have to do is be correct, right, correct, accurate in your statements to defeat Trump. All you've got to do is, be smarter than him and outwit him and outknow him and outfact him, but they don't have any of that shit. They can't outfact the man. They can't out-troll the man. They can't outsmart Trump. So they want to silence him and Trump, gag him. Anyways, the judge's daughter, the bitch, has raised $92 million in her campaign. Her fundraising campaign was to use Trump's likeness, his in jail. That's right. His Georgia trial and everything having to do with it, him being arrested, they are using that as a fundraising scheme. $92 million. Well, that's still nothing compared to Sam Bankman fraud. I bet his butt is going to sting a little bit. I bet it is. I bet he's probably going to like it too. I don't know why any Democrats object to going to prison, because you get to have you get 3 hots and a cot. Meals, food, showers, all the anal sex you want. You bet, folks. Anyways, Mr. Music, thank you very much for reminding me about this little bitch who can say what she wants, but Trump can't respond, according to her. Daddy, protect me. I want to use this to make money, but I don't want to be called out for being a fucking shit stain. And she is, right? I'm still waiting for that Dumbo-eared fuckstick, Obama, to really get into the politics and stir up the racial hatred. Folks down here in Florida, you wouldn't believe how genuinely honest and nice the black people I run into are. Period. They're just like me. They're decent human fucking beings. You can walk right up to them and talk to you. Talk to them, they'll walk right up and talk to you. It's funny when race is not a divisive fucking issue. It's unbelievable. It truly is. Mr. Uman, do we have more questions, comments, thoughts, objections? Mikey G, he's always got something to say. He says, what killed me was onelib.org. One lib organization was burying trees, and another liberal organization was pushing plant a tree. Oh, wait, burning. Go back to that. One was burning trees, and another was pushing plant a tree. Well, why do we want to burn trees? That releases carbon dioxide. Wow, these liberal organizations are killing me. If plants turn carbon into vegetation, plants turn carbon into leaves, branches, sticks, tree trunks, bark, roots. Trees use carbon dioxide as food. It's plant food. As far as I'm concerned, it is neutral. Hell, the more CO2 you put out there, the more the plants are like, give me some of that. Bring it on. What happens if they remove all this carbon from the atmosphere? They clean it all up. What are the plants going to eat? What are the trees going to eat and the bushes? Well, they don't give a shit, folks. They really don't actually give a fuck. They don't. The Democrats don't really give a fuck. They don't know any different. They don't know any better. All they want to do is stop you. Stop you, folks, from living a free life. Thank you, Mr. Mikey G. Yeah, there is no end to the hypocrisy, ignorance, and stupidity of Democrats. There's no end to it. It will not end. It cannot end, because that is what they are about. You bet. That's what they're such hypocrites and fucking liars. In Scotland, that's right, folks. You know I love Scotch. Scotland, the world's finest whiskeys are made in Scotland. But the government of Scotland is a place, I can never visit Scotland now, folks. Let me tell you why. Because they now have a hate crime law there that imposes a 7-year prison sentence if you're found guilty. So telling a transsexual in Scotland, no, I will not accept your mental disorder. I will not play your game. I will not encourage a mental disability to exist. That's now a crime to say those words in Scotland. Scotsmen of your country, wake up, fight back by disobeying this unconstitutional, ungodly law. Fight back by disobeying and refusing to allow yourselves to be arrested. Period. Period. Fuck these people. Like I said, I'm not going to allow myself to be arrested. Why? So I can go to a court? Even in Florida, I'm sure there are courts with Democrat judges and Democrat prosecutors who would do anything in their power to shut me and you and everyone up and to make an example of us. Well, I don't think I'm going to allow myself to be arrested because I am not a criminal. Oh, you've hurt people's feelings, John. Well, I don't give a fuck about people's feelings. I'm under no obligation to make anyone's feelings better or feel accepted or loved or welcomed. It's not my fucking job. It's not my responsibility. It's not my obligation. It's not my duty. I'm under no obligation to satisfy the government or a bunch of freaks and fruitcakes. Mr. Uman, we're ending the show, and we've got Bioxo77 stepping in with a statement. And he says, Happy Dingus Day to all my Polish peeps. Bioxos must be a Polak. And growing up, folks, boy, did we have good Polak jokes. We had good jokes about everyone. Nobody was exempt from jokes, whether it's Germans or Poles, blacks or whites, hicks, rednecks, blind people, midgets, didn't matter. Every farmers, people in cities, people in the country, people on the moon, fucking aliens. Everyone was fair game. Happy Dingus Day to all the Poles out there. Ow, my malagina. Your malagina. Your male-gina? I think I just pulled a muscle laughing. Oh, April Fools, folks. Happy April Fool to everybody. And to all you trans testicles out there, go down to the clinic, get a very sharp, clean, sterile razor blade, and remove your masculinity. Because I'm tired of hearing about female prisoners being raped by transsexual men who still have intact, operational, functional cocks. Just what a bunch of sick fuckers. Literally, think about it. I know this is hard, but cast your mind. Use your imagination and go, okay, I'm a guy. If you're a girl, you can have the same exercise, apparently. I'm a guy, but I'm going to claim I'm a girl. So I can go into women's restrooms because it turns me on to piss people off and to make women feel uncomfortable. And then as a transsexual, I need to consider all manner of crime against everyone and raping people and hurting them and lying to them and tricking them and thinking it's fucking cute. Imagine doing that all day long, every day. That's your life. Pissing people off and committing crimes. That's who they are. That's exactly who the fuck these people are. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Get yourself prepared. Prep to action. Period. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 0:30, and then tomorrow afternoon on the preparedmind.club and subscribestar.com, and we will talk live. No additional cost, just $2 a month to be here live every single day, talking about what's going on, asking questions, having a good time as we get prepared for very bad, hard, difficult times. But we have to go through it. It has to happen. It has to happen. Semper Fi, and God bless America.